So recently, I've been changing up quite a lot of things, the way I am doing both my long and short form content. A lot of thought has gone into this. I'm just trying to experiment, be as creative as possible, and ensure that my videos, which I am making, are being made to the best of my ability. And this is my first solo podcast, and the way this is going to go is by me just discussing about 30 different topics which I have right now, and I'm just going to be quick firing through all of them and talking about them for around 40 seconds to a minute. But it's not really about how much time I talk about it, but each topic which I talk about will not be that long, but whatever comes to my head, that's basically what I'm going to say, and then move on to the next one, and so on and so forth. But yeah, let's get into it. It doesn't matter how exhausted, bored, sad, or unmotivated you are, you must show up every single day without fail, and you must realize that whatever it is in life, there is always a line that can be crossed. That is why your emotions are terrible decision makers, and they often don't help you with anything in life. Hence why you need to learn to control them so that they don't control you and your actions in your day-to-day life. So, for instance, if you are overly stressed about work, sooner or later you will realize that you are making more mistakes, you are draining your energy, and it was never needed in the first place. So you need to refrain from doing that and actually focus on what you know is important in that current moment. And your emotions have a big part to play in terms of discipline, and it may sound impossible to have discipline and just do things regardless on how you feel, and it is difficult at the start, but once you can build up enough discipline, then you will become unstoppable, and it will be a lot easier to maintain, and then discipline would become part of you. The feeling of regret can be the most painful thing, but at the same time, it is the most normal thing. It is universal. It is something which everybody on the planet will experience at some point in their life. It may be something which you regret doing or saying, or it may be the regret of wasted time. But you will only make yourself even more and more miserable if you keep thinking about that and holding it with you everywhere you go. So you must learn to let go, and regret is something which you must overcome, and you will see how much your life significantly improves if you can actually battle out the regrets which you do have in your life, because you cannot open new doors with old keys. When people say that they are burnt out, they often use that as a coping mechanism to eliminate the shame of knowing that they didn't do the thing which they know they should have done. Or you may also actually be burnt out because you are fully draining yourself out and not giving yourself any time to think, and that is where burnout can become dangerous. It can lead to injuries, especially if it is in the gym, and it is just not good for your mental health and well-being. So just always ensure that you are drinking enough water, not eating junk food, giving your mind some time to think, and you have enough sleep. So if you really think about it, consistency really doesn't mean much, because you could consistently go to the gym once a month without fail, but it is volume which matters ultimately, because you need to do so much volume that it is unreasonable for you to be unsuccessful, and one doesn't work without the other. If you do a lot of volume but you aren't consistent, you will fail. If you are consistent but you don't do enough volume, you will also fail. So those two key things are very important. You can implement them with anything which you want to do in life, and without those two, you won't succeed in life. When was the last time that you sat down by yourself, no distractions, you and your own thoughts? Because being focused is extremely powerful. Most people get distracted by the most stupid things, and they don't even realize that they are getting affected by it. Having a shower is supposed to be one of the best times to have your own deep thoughts, but instead that has been replaced by listening to music on the Bluetooth speaker. Whilst people are resting between their sets in the gym, they are scrolling. Whilst you are walking, you are listening to a podcast. Whilst you are sleeping, you are listening to music, and it is non-stop. sound all around you everywhere you go, and your brain needs time to think. Your brain can focus the most when everything is quiet, and that is all you need in life. So you want to improve as a person. One thing which you can do is reinvent yourself, and that's not the only way to improve, but it is a very strategic thing to do. And throughout this process of your reinvention, you need to be incredibly honest with yourself. So you could get a pen and paper and just write down the bad habits which you do have. So then you can figure out a way to overcome them and actually ascend as a person. And you never need to tell anyone or show anyone your progress. You should always be keeping that a secret, and then you can show your true self, or your newer version of yourself, if you'd rather say that, when you actually have ascended and become the person which you had always wanted to be like. The hardest battle is between your old habits and your new standards, and you just need to believe in yourself, because you could go from being a chronic procrastinator and just eating rubbish, never working out, always scrolling and just being a couch potato and etc., to reading every single day, going to the gym, having a lot of water and just having a healthy diet and everything, making money and just significantly improving your life and setting yourself new standards. And once you overcome your bad habits, then you will become unstoppable, but you just need to believe in yourself, or else you won't improve. There are two main boundaries in life, and the second one is shocking because people don't even think about it as much. The first one is personal boundaries, knowing what is doing too much so you do not cross the line. For example, if it is procrastination, as an example, you aren't over exceeding your limits of procrastinating. You are sticking to your standards, not scrolling for more than half an hour, reading for at least an hour a day, whatever it may be. And then the second one is not letting other people step over your boundaries, not letting people fuck with you or your family or anyone which you care about, and not letting anything get into your way. Isolation can sound impossible for most people, and they would never want to experience being alone because they always want to be spoon-fed and always want people around them everywhere they go doing things for them. And the reality of isolation is that you can learn so much about yourself. You know things which you never expected to even know about yourself, and you can get very far in life. But if you aren't chronically isolated, then that isn't so bad, because you also need to socialize in life, and that is also another important thing. A failure is a person who tried once and gave up. But if you are continuously trying again and again and again, thousands and thousands of times until you win, and you know that you will because you believe in yourself, then that is not failure. That is just attempts. And then you will succeed eventually. But that's just part of the journey. You will go through lots of trial and error. You will be miserable and lonely. It's going to be a difficult journey, and it may seem as if you are failing, but that's not what actually is happening. If you are really willing to win and you are doing anything it takes, it is only if you are giving up straight away, if you feel that it is difficult, then you will never ever succeed. Then you are a failure. In life, you'll have ups and you'll have downs. You'll have good days and bad days. It is impossible to have a perfect day. And the good thing about momentum is that it isn't impossible to do. Once you are doing good, whether you are proud of yourself or you did a lot of volume and you are consistent, keep that momentum up. Keep having the momentum and you will become successful eventually. Momentum is all you need. If you can keep that going, then you will improve your life in ways which you could never imagine. School never teaches you to network. You are stuck in a bubble and you can only socialize with the people around you. But networking is one of the most valuable things which you could ever be doing in your life. You could bump into people which could change your life. You don't know who you could meet, whether that is for business purposes, which could help you for your own business, whether that is just meeting new people in general. You can really change your life. and just go all in, go all out there and interact with as many people as possible. You can become an unstoppable force if you use delegation correctly. People love feeling trusted, and this is very good, perfect for having a business. And there is a dark side to this though. Don't use delegation and try to force responsibilities on other people because you are too lazy and you just aren't trying, because that is extremely low IQ. You are never going to succeed if you are doing that. And just be very wise on the decisions which you make, especially if it includes other people. Your mindset is everything. You'd be surprised on how powerful the human mind actually is and what it is capable of doing. If you truly believe in yourself, then anything is possible. But the problem is, too many people have a bad mindset and they are afraid of failing. They want to seek validation. All they want is fun. And that's just not the right mindset to have. But once you can control it, then you will become so powerful and succeed in anything in life. One thing which I find extremely pathetic and very low IQ is trying to seek for validation. Do you have nothing else better to do with your life rather than wanting to be seen and heard by every single person just so that you feel better in any way, shape or form? It is such a terrible mindset to have, and instead of doing that, you could have actually had something going for you in life. It's still probably not too late, but it's something which you really need to change. And if you don't, you'll just be unsuccessful your whole life. So just nip that in the bud. The amount you procrastinate is a direct correlation to how you feel and what you do in your day-to-day life. If you are miserable and you hate yourself and you hate everything, then the chances are you probably procrastinate. You eat junk, you don't work out, you have no ambition, you have nothing going for you. And you are stuck in this trap, but you need to escape immediately before it gets too late. So change your mindset, stop procrastinating. I know it sounds cliche and difficult to do, but it really isn't that hard. So just change and stop procrastinating. Master boredom. Be good at being bored, because if you can have that level of self-control, then what will happen is that your mind won't try to fill in the gaps on what you should be doing in your spare time, which is negatively impacting your brain. For example, scrolling, eating rubbish, and just doing degenerate, mediocre things. So if you are good at being bored, then you can also think a lot more, and it's just such a game changer. So if you really want to succeed, then one thing which you must do is cut out all of the distractions. Cut out the scrolling, or reduce the amount of time you spend on the screen at least. Stop going to parties, stop trying to chase girls, stop trying to do degenerate things and waste your time. And once you can do this, then you will also become more ambitious and more dedicated to what it is which you actually like doing. And from there on, you can also show up every single day and work hard and be relentless, and then you will win in the end. Be organized and know what you are doing, but don't try to be perfect. Have a routine, but don't try to make every single thing on your routine perfect, because you won't be perfect. What you are doing won't be perfect. Nothing is going to be perfect. So you need to be strategic, and if you can have a routine in your mind and you know it off by heart, then that is great. But don't try to be so detailed and specific with what your routine is. If it helps, then go for it, but I wouldn't recommend it because it can be overwhelming and it's not the greatest thing to be doing. In life, you have to give up things which you used to do, which you considered fun, for the greater good, so that you don't get distracted, so you can actually focus on your goals and become successful. Sacrifices must be made, and that applies for anybody in life, because that is the only way that you will become successful. You can't be successful without taking any risks or sacrificing anything. That's not the way the world works, and that's just a realistic approach to life. Unless you're a master manipulator and you're lying for a good cause, then you're not really weak. But if you are the average person who is lying, then most likely you are also insecure and you can't accept the brutal truth. So you lie to make yourself feel better, and that is a terrible mindset to have. And most people never change from that standpoint. And you are stuck in a rabbit hole. And you need to escape immediately and own up and be truthful. If having an ego significantly boosts your confidence and self-belief, then great. But don't have an ego so much to the point where you are completely arrogant and don't care what anybody else has to say, and you aren't willing to take constructive criticism because you think that every single thing which you are doing is correct. But at the same time, you do need a narcissistic kind of trait to yourself, because to be the best, you must believe that you already are the best. Then you will become the best in whatever it is in life which you are trying to pursue, whatever you are passionate about. So really engrave that into your mind. Elon Musk was never a perfectionist, hence why he had become so successful. And there is a reason why SpaceX had surpassed NASA. NASA was so worried about making mistakes and their rockets exploding, whereas Elon Musk did not care about blowing up, and he kept making mistakes, and then it was a lot faster. He learned a lot more. So you shouldn't be a perfectionist. Instead, learn from your mistakes, and then you will become so much more intelligent and experienced. Always be patient. Patience is key. When you are rushing, you make mistakes, you forget things, and it really isn't the greatest thing. So whatever you are doing in life, just take a step back, breathe, just be calm and composed, and just don't be too relaxed, because that's not good. You need some sense of urgency, and you do need to be a little bit stressed at least, so that you have things to worry about, which makes you keep pushing forward. But you get the idea. Never rush, be patient, because if you can wait for something, then you will have a higher level of self-control, and it will get you far in life. If you went into a minimalist's house, you would wonder how boring or empty it would look, but imagine how clear their mind would be. Everything is empty. They have nothing cluttered all over the place, and it actually sounds quite nice. I mean, my room's always messy, but that'd be amazing if everything was so minimalistic. Nobody is coming to save you, and nobody is coming to stop you. So what actually is stopping you? What are you actually afraid of? Are you afraid of what others will think of you? Are you afraid of getting mocked? Are you afraid of getting rejected? Are you afraid of getting embarrassed? What actually is it which is stopping you from doing what you know you should be doing? All of these feelings are normal, by the way, but you just have to overcome them. All of the successful people had felt what you had been feeling exactly, if you still are feeling this way right now, but they had overcome it. That is why they are successful. And you just need to get over it. Face your fears. The best way to remain productive throughout the rest of the day is starting off the day by being productive. If you do your bed sheets, if you tidy your room, if you read a book, if you work out, if you do all of these amazing things, then you'd feel a lot better about yourself, and you'd want to do more. You'd want to keep that up. And if you can consistently keep doing that, not just for one day, but for many days, then that will actually build a routine, and you'll get a lot more used to that, and then you'd be a productive person. I know it sounds cliche, but that's just the reality. I'd rather have an honest enemy than a dishonest friend. If someone is genuinely trying to help you and they are giving you constructive criticism and you aren't taking that as a opportunity to learn and you are taking that personally, then you deserve to lose, because you're probably also insecure and think that you are always correct, but your mind's never going to expand if that is your mindset. You're never going to grow, you're never going to learn, and you're going to stay in the position which you are in right now forever if you do not change. So if someone is genuinely trying to help you and they are giving you constructive criticism, take that as an opportunity to see what you can actually learn from it and how you can improve as a person, or whatever it is that it may be. When you go to the gym, your body doesn't just grow, you don't just get bigger muscles, your mind also grows. It learns new things and it gets healthier and stronger too. And you have to kill the old version of yourself to build the best version of yourself as possible. And that's just the way it goes. And your mind grows so much without you even realizing it. The mind is the most powerful thing, and it's surprising on what it is actually capable of doing. The job market is absolutely cooked. Yeah, we all know, but it's not over yet. AI hasn't taken over every single job yet. You still have a chance. So just keep applying. Don't give up, because then you'll never get a job. And when you do get one, you can just be working the bare minimum. Don't do no work at all. Of course, that's not what I'm saying. Just do enough work to the point where you don't get fired and you're not draining your energies, just so that you can have enough energy to put that into whatever you are passionate about outside of work, and then just relentlessly pursue whatever it is it may be. If you want to be a footballer, a chef, a musician, anything, put that extra energy onto that and then show up every single day, then you'll win. That's it.